सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, योगी राम सूरत कुमार, जय गुरु राया।
भगवान श्री योगी राम सूरत कुमार की जय। सर्वं योगी राम सूरत कुमारार्पणमस्तु।
இன்றைய சந்திய today's evening twilight, we were able to sing Bhagwan's powerful Nama and submit at the lotus feet of our Bhagwan with profuse thanks. We all know it is no small grace to be able to sit in the powerful shrine of Bhagwan. We need the grace of our mind and the grace of our God. Today, we shall see how the power of the Nama changes a DK man who kept saying there is no God at all, who never bothered with God. How he became a devotee of Yogi Ram Surat Kumar. Some time back, a few months back perhaps, a boy by name Santosh had come here. He came to me and said, "Amma, I have a story, a wonderful story to tell you, but it's not my story. It is the story of somebody well known to us. Can we narrate it?" I said, "Of course. What else we are here for? To remember Bhagwan's name, to remember his leelas, to rejoice in it." And then he started to say, and soon after that, the one who's involved, the devotee, also came here and narrated everything personally. His name is Prabhu. Right now, his original native place is Pandruti. When he was just about 18, he was already very good at tinkering, the repair of cars, vehicles. So near Hosur, some walkable distance, he put up a shop, a tinkering shop, and he became well known in that region. He belonged to that particular party, Shri Periya's party. It's called a DK, Dravidar Kazhagam. Those people say outright, there is no God. There is no God at all, with great emphasis. That was okay. He found himself joining the group. Until about 6 o'clock, he would slog in his workshop. This boy of 18 And then he would attend some meetings of these people. Not that he participated actively, but he was definitely a member of that group. He never bothered to worship any god. There was no need for him. Everything was going well. He was hardworking, well known in the place. So life was running smooth. One day, a car passed by and then it stopped. It reversed and came to his shop. The driver said that one of the doors was jammed. They were unable to open it. Immediately, Sri Prabhu set about repairing it. He was very good at his job and he did very well to set it right. When the car was just about to start, the driver pointed to a picture of Bhagavan and said, "Take blessings from him." You know what Prabhu said? "Look, it's okay, don't bother." He was not going to worship God at all, and why would he worship a man? He simply said, okay, you get moving. They paid him, and then the car left. So that was all, and he soon forgot all about it. Continued working in his shop. But once Bhagwan's eyes had fallen upon him, and Bhagwan must have done it deliberately, though of course this man didn't think anything about it anymore. One day, somebody had brought a car where many parts had to be changed. They brought it to his shop, his workshop. And then he said, okay, I will do it. And the car was left there in his workshop. He was trying to find fitting parts for the repair. Somehow it was dragging on. It took more than a month. And still it was not done fully. Under him in his workshop, 3 Muslim boys were also working. There was one Sufyan in that. They were all very good boys. They were honest and they worked hard, and he liked them. And then one elderly Muslim who used to bring boys to him for work, he brought another boy. And of course, Sri Prabhu took him on, and the boy also started to work. It was hardly 20 days when one day, after finishing his work in the evening, Prabhu started to return to his house, telling those boys to continue working. In the night also, and then he left. Next day morning about 7 o'clock when he came to the shop, he found something very strange, where the car that was brought from Bangalore was still there very much, but there was something that was missing. And then he and Sufyan found out the new tires, brand new tires of the car were missing. They had been replaced by the old car tires. The tires were missing, and they had been replaced by the old ones. And what was more, the boy who was working there for 20 days had also disappeared with that. Now, naturally, Prabhu was very upset because each tire would cost 3,000 rupees. It would amount to 15,000 plus. Where would he go? He was answerable to the owner of the car who trusted him and left him there. He felt terrible. And that evening, very, very upset with himself and with life altogether, he was walking towards his house. That day, he did not know what made him take a different route. Generally, he would go by the well-laid road. But that day, the road that he had chosen, without knowing, was very bumpy. There were ups and downs on the road. So sometimes if you're not careful, one could even slip down. So as Prabhu was moving towards his house, very, very upset that he had to find those tires or pay back the money. What was more, those people who had left the car trusted him. What would happen? Very soon the news would spread that things are being stolen from his shop and people would no more trust him. He was very worried and was walking ahead, and suddenly he felt something under his foot. Some paper, thick paper, folded, and he stepped on that. Immediately moved away and then took the paper. It was a 6-fold paper. It looked like an invitation. And there, on one side, was the picture of Yogiram Suratkumar, the picture the car driver showed him. When he showed him, the DK man, Prabhu, said, Okay, get moving. Meaning there was no need to take blessings or anything. Now the same picture he stepped upon. Hastily, he took it in his hand. On the one side was the picture of Bhagwan. On the other side was written, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru Raya. The mantra. And it was printed 21 times. It was written 21 times. Suddenly he remembered, and he felt probably that day when the man showed the picture, he was indifferent and was bent upon turning away. And probably that is why this happened to him. As soon as the thought came, he had a very good look at the photograph, and then he took it to his home. And then there was a drawer that he used. He once again took the picture of Bhagwan and said, Look, that day somebody said that I take your blessings, but I didn't do it, I was indifferent. Now you have come to me somehow, by whose will I do not know. And your mantra is written here 21 times. But something has happened to me in my workshop which would deprive me of my name, of all the good things I have done so far, the trust of the customers in me. If you can give back those stolen tires within 21 days. Because 21 times your mantra has been written, then I would become your bhakta. I would become your staunch devotee. He promised himself and Bhagwan, and then he just held it in his hand and read out the mantra, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru Raya, 21 times after showing 2 incense sticks and kept it back in the drawer. And then the next day he would take it again, look at the picture of Bhagwan, wave 2 agarbattis, read out the 21 times the mantra, pray again, please get back the lost tires for me, then I will become your bhakta. He did not know he had already become one. Why would he wave the incense sticks? Why would he read out the mantra 21 times, trusting Yogi Ram Surat Kumar to get back those tires? He did not know, he was not aware, he was already doing it, that by the grace of Bhagwan, he was already hooked. So what happened? 20 days had passed, uneventful days. And that the 21st day came, he was slowly losing his hope. But he did not stop the practice. By the time he got used to it so much, somehow, without knowing, he was holding on to Bhagwan, though he was losing hope of getting back the tires. And morning about 10 o'clock, when he went to the shop, the Sufyan was there, the boy, the Muslim boy, been working for years under him. He came very excitedly. He was there, he was already working, and when this man went back to his workshop, a car came for the repair work. And now by the time Shri Prabhu was very busy with his workshop, he had no time, he was already looking upon, very busy with another vehicle. So he called Sufyan and said, okay, this car has come now, you take it to Babu's workshop and start working on it, because the customer should not be disappointed that I am not paying attention. So take the car, go to Babu's workshop and start doing whatever you can. I will come later on. So Sufyan took the car to the workshop, Babu's workshop, and was lying down to do the repairing. There were 2 workshops next to each other. Sufyan was in Babu's workshop. While he lay down and started to work, by same, suddenly he turned and he found a car stopped in front of the next workshop. A car was parked already. From where he was lying, he could see the tires of the car, and he was taken aback. The tires were brand new, and the tires were what they had lost. You can imagine his reaction. How did he find out? It could have been a new car brought from, and it could have been the new tires they had bought somewhere. How did he know they were the lost tires? Because Sufyan had a habit. Whenever he worked with any part of the car under his master's guidance, after the work was over, he had this habit of chiseling, writing on the disc of the tire his name. Of course, without the knowledge of the master. He didn't know, he wouldn't tell him because the master would give him nicely. So he never told anybody he was doing it, but it was his habit. Now, from where he was lying and doing work, he could see those tires, and what was more, he could see his name written on them, on the disc. He knew without doubt they were the ones they had lost, the stolen ones. Immediately he ran to his boss and said excitedly, "Sir, our tires, I could spot them. They are there next to Babu's shop. Will you please come?" So you can imagine the excitement because it was the 21st day. The news has come that the stolen tires have been found by Sufyan. So immediately he walked very fast to reach the place. And he also instructed Sufyan to pretend to do the work, lying down, and note down the number of the tires, which of course Sufyan did. Now, Prabhu went to the shop where the car was parked, the stolen tires, and demanded to know whose car it was. And then when the man came, he said, "Look, these tires are mine. They have been stolen. How did you get it? Where did you get them?" Now the man was trying to say that he bought them in a tinker's shop, in a tinkering shop in Bangalore. So they were his. But Prabhu was adamant. He said, "They are mine." Immediately the car owner said, "Okay, if they are yours, you show me the bill." So he went and rang up to the owner who left the car for the bill, and then he threatened the owner of the stolen car, "Listen, I have already made the complaint to the police inspector here." His name was Muttamil Mudalvan, a very strange name. And I believe he was well feared in those areas. He was very good at his work, this policeman, the inspector. And usually people were afraid. So he said, "Look, I have made a complaint with the local inspector, Muttamil Mudalvan, and be warned, he is not an easy man to handle. And you see, I have asked for the tires numbers of the owner. They will come soon, and then we shall see." And then he pretended to go to some place. He pretended to phone up to the owner, and then he pretended to note down the car numbers which already Sufyan noted, and came back and gave the number. "See, these are the tires with those numbers. I have no doubt they are mine, the stolen ones. Whatever you say doesn't matter, but I want them returned immediately. Otherwise, the inspector will be here any moment. Be warned." So he threatened, and finally that man yielded, admitted, and gave back the tires. So on the 21st day, true to his condition, Bhagavan helped him find those stolen tires. He says, "Ever since I have become a very staunch devotee of Yogiram Suratkumar, not a day passes without my uttering his name 21 times. Any work I would start only after chanting his name 21 times. I had not come to that ashram. I had not seen him in person. I only came to know that he has an ashram in Tiruvannamalai. But the picture I got, I stepped on, and Bhagavan came to me through the picture, and that is enough for me. The mantra is enough for me, and so many miracles are happening to me even now." I told those DK people, that I very much believed in God, and then I had taken to worship of God, and I was excused. I just simply walked out. When Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar is with me, what am I afraid of? And then he said, he had come 1 week back. Santosh had brought him, and then he narrated all those stories himself again. He said, Amma, I have one more story to tell you, very impressive one. You would be delighted to hear. Of course, I was all eagerness, all ears. He started to say that he was married in 99 or 2000, after Mahasamadhi of Bhagavan, that was. I think it was 2002 or something, he said. And soon after that, his wife conceived. She was 3 months pregnant already. When she went to, in those places, it's very common. An astrologer would come with a parrot. He would have a pack of cards with him, and then he would ask the parrot to come out. If somebody came, if somebody wanted to know his future or something about his problem, they would come to him, and then he would pretend to speak to the parrot. He would get it out of his cage, and the parrot would keep on throwing the cards, and finally it would pick up one and give it to its master, who would read it out, who is supposed to be the prediction. So you see, Prabhu's wife somehow took it into her head to walk up to this astrologer, and then she said, now I am pregnant, will you please make your predictions through the parrot? She paid him, and of course the parrot owner said, he cajoled the parrot to come out, and then said, okay, find out in the name of God whatever is prediction for her. So the parrot pulled out quite a few cards and then picked up one and gave it to him for reading out. And it said, to the great disappointment of Prabhu's wife, a 3-month pregnant wife, very soon she will have to go through an abortion. Just imagine how the pregnant wife, the newly bedded, now pregnant for 3 months, would have felt at this prediction. She felt terrible, and of course she wouldn't believe it. And then she said, at the time her neighbor was coming, who was also pregnant. And immediately she called out to that lady and said, will you pick up? Will you do this? So for her sake, the other lady also did. And the same card came saying that she would have to go through the abortion. The child wouldn't stay for long in her uterus. She felt terrible and she still wouldn't believe it. She herself did that, and again the same card. And then they called out a small boy of 5 or 6 years and asked him to take out one card, which was the same card again. 4 times the prediction was the same, that she would very soon lose the fetus. You can imagine how terrible it must have been for her. She was devastated. She ran to her house, started to scream, cry out. And when Prabhu returned home, he found her crying out so much. And then finally he got the news from her. He got terribly angry. He became ferocious. Immediately he called one of the boys and said, look for this man, this parrot owner, the parrot astrologer, wherever he is, please bring him here. By then the parrot astrologer had crossed 50 houses from there. But the boys were very clever. They talked into him to come over there. And then when he appeared, you see, already he had heard the news because his wife was crying. He himself was very upset. Whenever he was upset, he also resorted to drinking. So he was a little drunk by the time the parrot astrologer came. And you can imagine how violently Prabhu reacted. He held his collar, the astrologer's collar, threatened to kill him and beat him up severely and said, if I should ever see you again in this area, you will be killed. Now listen, what kind of an astrologer you are? A pregnant woman comes with all hope and dreams to you for some good word, and this is what you give her? Even if you get it, even if this is true, this is no way to tell the woman, a pregnant woman, what kind of man you are. Heartless. You should never show your face in this area. And then he went and sat. He felt very bad about the whole thing. He went and sat before his favorite picture of Bhagavan and went into deep meditation, he says, because by then he had achieved some concentration and he kept repeating the name of Bhagavan with his whole heart, crying out. And suddenly he heard a voice, he says, inside, which said, don't worry, a son will be born to you on your wedding day. On your wedding day, the child would be born. A son would be born to you. As soon as he heard it, in his deep state, he got up very cheerfully. Now all his worries had left him, all the terror of the impending abortion left him. He ran to his wife excitedly and said, look, Swami has given me word. Just see, on our wedding day your son will be born. Then you call him Yogiram, you name him Yogiram. And then he walked out back to the workshop. He says, true to what he said, the child was born as a son was born to him. The pregnancy was comfortable. His wife carried on very well. And a child, a son was born to him. In fact, his wife was asked to come and report to the doctor some 10 days before. But his wife did not take it seriously. She did not go to the doctor. Now suddenly that day she developed pains, but she didn't even develop pains. That's what, she went to the doctor not knowing it was her wedding day. She went to the doctor and apologized for coming 10 days later. She did not know why she was delaying. And then the doctor gave her injection for the pains, but she did not get the pains at all. But the child was born, and it was her son, and it was the wedding day. Immediately, even before Prabhu got the news, she named him Yogiram. What a story. What is not possible for Yogiram Surat Kumar Nama? Now this Bhagavan is here right in front of us. Let us offer our prayers at his feet. Bhagavan, if against all predictions, the conventional predictions, your grace could work to the fulfillment of a prayer from a devotee. We have been praying now for 1 year, every day, And we offer our prayer again, once again, now at your feet. Kindly intervene immediately and free the entire world from the dreadful clutches of this Rakshasic virus and bring back a dharmic normalcy to the world. And Bhagwan, kindly remove the fear, the panic of the pandemic and all other negativities from the minds of people. Stop the rapid spread of the disease and enter the medicine, make it work so that the whole family of this virus would die. And Bhagwan, please make this medicine available to all the people who deserve it, and also beds. We hear that the hospitals are all full and there are quite a few waiting for the beds. We beg you again to make the beds available to them and also the medicine. And Bhagwan, again, all those laboring sevaks, volunteers, at the very risk of their life, fighting the disease for the sake of the others, need to be protected by you. We beg you for that. And again we beg you for a lift to economy, and above all, for constant remembrance of your name and for the attitude, the right attitude to life, the attitude of being good instruments in your hands, not in the hands of the Maya. And Bhagwan, please bless us again to be able to see only your presence, your blessing in every event of our life. Jai Yogiram Surat Kumar.
योगी राम सूरत